Welcome to the Bucher and Friends podcast, co-starring 10-year NFL veteran and Super Bowl champion, Will Blackman.
Manning from the end zone. He throws, and a deflect away, and it is picked off by Will Blackman, the former Giant.
Tim Dwight watches it hit, bounces, picks it up at the 10, slips a defender, fumbles the football. It's up for grabs. It's covered in the end zone by Will Blackman for a Green Bay touchdown.
And now, here is your host,
Let's send it over to Ric Bucher.
Ric Bucher.
Welcome to another episode of Bucher and Blackman, subsidiary of Bucher and Friends, part of the United WeCast Network. I'm Ric Bucher. You can see me on FS1. You can read me on Bleacher Report, and you can follow me on Twitter at Ric Bucher. He's Will Blackman, NFL vet, Super Bowl champ. You can find him on Twitter at Will Blackman. He's available for TV appearances as well. Anybody's out there, just wanted you to know. All right, so a bunch of little things we have to get to, and this is going to sound like we're dating ourselves, and actually we are dating ourselves in bringing this up, but you and I never talked about it. We talked about Game of Thrones at one point, and we were both behind in seeing the last, neither one of us had seen the last episode, so we didn't want to talk about it.
Right, I waited till, I think, Monday night.
Right.
I think.
So...
The Monday after it came on. That's what it was.
Okay. I probably waited longer than that, but I did ultimately see it. And everybody's had an opinion. Everybody, for the most part, have been dragging Game of Thrones in the way that it ended in the final season. Your final thoughts about it being over and what you saw in that final episode?
I'll tell you what. I don't know. It just felt rushed.
Yep.
And, you know, I got a lot of people telling me, especially on social media, that, of course, if Jon Snow ended up becoming, you know, king, that would have been too obvious and too cliche, or whatever they want to say about it. But I'm like, well, yeah, he was supposed to be. It's like the fact that he didn't become king is like, why the heck did why did he even find out that he was a Targaryen in the first place? He found out he's a Targaryen, and that just meant nothing because nothing happened.
No, that's not true. It basically, him discovering that he was a Targaryen. One, we had another kind of incestuous relationship. It seemed to happen a lot in that show.
It did, because Targaryens were known for that. So
yes. Lannisters too, apparently. But
Lannisters.
That was the vehicle for Dany and Jon Snow to no longer be in love and see eye to eye. Basically led to him killing her. The problem that I had was it was just too disjointed. If he's going to stab her, when he stabs her and kills her, and the dragon comes upon him with Dany, there's no way that the dragon ain't torching him. Like torching everything else. I get the symbolism. It was too much. And I gave them the excuse of, I understood that the last season was disappointing, but they were up against having to wrap everything up.
I'm so mad you brought this discussion out the bag.
Why?
Because I put it so behind me. I put it so behind me.
Well, you know what? And we can do that because I did too. I was glad that it was over.
Yeah, I was glad too that it was over.
Yeah. But it's the writer in me, it's the storyteller in me.
No, I understand.
That I see the challenge that they faced.
We got the same degree, man. It's all good.
Okay. So that's what everybody's just bagging on him. I'm like,
because it was so elite, and then I just felt like 8 was just rushed. For me, ever since Arya killed the Night King, I was over the whole show.
Yeah,
I was. So
and how she killed the Night King?
No, the fact that she killed him. Yeah, how was another discussion, but the fact that she killed him, that's what annoyed me. So once that happened, I was done with the entire show.
So here's the thing. Once you had the Night Walkers, like just pouring through, like the end of season 7. By the way, Nobody, I don't get this, and maybe I would have to research it or watch some of the extras to get an explanation. It looked as if the wall had been rebuilt.
Right, to protect themselves against who?
And but the previous season ended with the White Walker dragon torching it down, it falling down. How the hell did that thing get built up again? I mean, it was too monumental. That's not like
what's the point of the Night Watch? Then what's the point of the Night Watch now? There's no more White Walkers.
Yeah, and
why doesn't that watch even exist?
And that's where they sent Jon Snow, and then he went out that same damn gate. That gate that I thought had been torched by the White Walker dragon.
So I'm saying it all didn't make any sense, man.
Yeah, there's just too.
And then Bran becomes king.
And then,
dude,
like really, and then what's his name? Tyrion goes down in the catacombs, and he finds Jaime Lannister's golden hand. I mean, it looked like the whole building came down on him.
That too. Cersei died from ruins.
Yeah.
Anyhow, yeah, it was just. Right. But I'll tell you what, though.
What?
I tell you what. You know what picked up the slack? Chernobyl. Ooh, woo.
I started recording that. Haven't seen it yet. Really?
I tell you what, and the fact that it's true.
Yes.
Woo.
Yeah. Okay.
Chernobyl.
What? Are you saying that Game of Thrones wasn't true?
Moving on.
All right.
Jordy Nelson in the news today.
Yeah.
Yes, he signed a 1-day contract to retire with the Packers.
All right, so help me out on this. Because I think Jerry Rice did the same thing with the 49ers. Any number of guys have done this. What is the real meaning in that?
What?
Is there any value? Is there any intrinsic value, contract? Or is it just a symbolic thing of we appreciate you so much that, and a guy wants to go
Jordy
out?
Went off.
What?
What do you mean? Like, what do you mean by that? The symbolism.
Sign a 1-day contract so you can say you're retired as a Packer or as a 49er or as whatever.
I don't know.
What does it mean?
I don't know. I didn't retire as anybody. I just left.
So if you had your choice, who would you have signed your last? If you did a 1-day, who would you do it with?
If I had a choice,
yeah,
man, I don't know, man. I think because I spent like equal time everywhere.
Right. That's why I asked the question, because I knew it would be difficult. And I'm surprised. I thought you'd say Giants, actually.
You thought I'd say Giants?
Yes.
No, because I didn't really do anything. I didn't do much there.
Okay.
As a player.
Then I would say my next would be Packers.
I think I was most appreciated in Green Bay.
Okay.
So probably a Packer. I went to Jacksonville. I was not appreciated in Jacksonville for what I did.
Yeah. Washington?
I was not appreciated in Washington for what I did. And I'm on record saying that. Giants, you know what though? Probably a Giant. Even though I didn't do much there playing wise.
They did a lot for you.
They did a lot. You know the story. They did a lot for me. So
yeah. Okay.
Still, yeah, who knows?
Fair enough.
But Jordy Nelson, I mean, it's so funny. I remember we drafted him in 2007. He was technically our first pick because we didn't have a first-round pick, so we got him in the second round. And actually, former safety at Kansas State, turned receiver, and it was so funny.
That doesn't happen too often, does it?
Well, he ended up changing positions in college.
Oh, okay.
So it was so funny.
Still though.
Oh no, but guys come in two positions. Like Trace McSorley, the quarterback for the Ravens, he was like an All-American safety in high school.
Okay, but to become a wide receiver of Jordy Nelson's ability, it's a little unusual that he would be switching from safety.
Wide receivers might be the easiest position in the NFL. Easily. It is.
From a technical standpoint.
Yeah, from a technical standpoint. As long as you have a pretty good quarterback, you're good. And you have Favre and Rodgers.
This, by the way, is a former DB talking down wide receivers.
I did it though.
With which
I did it though. I did it though. I know it is the pros.
I know.
Different.
Then you transitioned to the tougher position.
No, I went from defensive back to receiver, back to defensive back.
That's what I mean. Where'd you end up?
Exactly. because I was like, that's where the dough's at. So what happened was when Jordy came in, I remember Al Harris was like, I'm gonna go get my hands on him, probably sleeping on him for obvious reasons, and then Jordy just took off. Jordy was fast. He was like 215, maybe 220. He was fast, like 6'2", 6'3". He was a big dude, and he could run. So the fact that he can run really well, Al was like, somebody needs to go cover Forrest out there.
That's good.
But yeah, no, Jordy was, easily like one of the toughest matchups I ever gone against, facing him in practice all the time. Finished second all time in Packers history in receiving touchdowns. Jordy was slept on. Jordy did work, though. Jordy was nice, man. So congrats to Jordy on a wonderful career. Just a true Packer.
Jordy, and I know I mentioned him when it comes to the one-day contracts. Jordy, when I think of Jordy, and I put him in the same vein as Jerry Rice as wide receivers in this regard, they were amazingly efficient, but they weren't flashy. Like Jerry Rice was not flashy as a wide receiver.
No, I don't know, because Jerry was really in particular on how he dressed every game.
No, that's different. That's different.
No, that's different.
No. But the way he played was not flashy. He wasn't making one-handed catches. He would work you.
He was flashy in 94. When Deion came, he didn't want to buy in. He's like, I got to buy in.
There's fat. Look, they called him Fifi at one point because he had the stud earring, which was avant-garde at the time.
Yeah, bro.
And he had the
flashy.
He had the.
You better.
What did he have? He had the kid and play do, and so yeah, no. He was.
Jordy was Larry Fitzgerald-ish, like that.
Okay.
Like that.
Yeah, I put them in the same category. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Jerry was that way too.
He's just gonna stare at me. All right,
that doesn't make for a good podcast.
Fair enough. Yeah.
All right. The latest news coming down: the Warriors lose yet another player, Kevon Looney. I'm not sure what this is.
Collarbone.
Yeah, the cartilage around the cartilage. Kevon Looney has cornered the market on weird injuries. He had a weird hip injury coming out of UNLV.
Because he's awkward. He's like goofy.
Yeah. In any event, he is out for the finals.
Yeah, that's a tough one, the collarbone, dude.
It is.
It's the
but what a weird.
So the costal cartilage.
Yeah, you know this.
Yeah, it's like in between like the ribs, like they call it. So from the collarbone to the
up here. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so from the collarbone down to like the first rib, that's what they call a costal. And if you tear that or you do any kind of damage, it is a bitch, bro. And I
to come back from
to even handle. You can't breathe. It hurts. It's that bad.
Goodness.
Like as soon as you inhale and your lungs expand, that intercostal just starts to tear a little bit. So if you look in between the ribs, or you can feel it, it's the tissue, the cartilage in between the ribs.
Man, I feel so badly for him. He and I had a long talk just like a week ago about how he's evolved. He's always been such a good dude. He is a guy that you love having on your team as a role player because he tries to do everything. The vets were always encouraging him to do more. He worked out last summer with KD. That, by the way, is one of the unwritten stories. The number of guys, when KD during the offseason, he's like on a caravan. He's going around the country working out with various guys. Pascal Siakam worked with him at length. Kevon did
That's what guys do. That's what's so funny. Yes, like all pro athletes, we all compete against each other when it's go time, during the season. But during the off season, it's a fraternity. It's a cult. We all help each other. We all train with each other. We all, do things like that. So it's interesting.
Why is that?
Because at the end of the day, like we're all real friends.
Yeah.
there are very few guys that truly don't like each other in the NFL.
How much of it is that you're an elite company when it comes to your athletic ability?
No, that is a huge factor because, not only am I going to go work with these guys because I know who they are, what they're about, they understand, what it takes, but also too, there's a little competition in there too.
Sure.
Like if I go there and compete against this guy, he's going to make me better.
Right.
Like for example, a bunch of guys go to UCLA. So, hey, someone heard, Odell is down there. So guess who else showed up? AB showed up. Guess who's throwing to Odell? Russell Wilson's throwing to Odell. So a bunch of guys were able to get in and have like this private thing going down at UCLA to work out, and that's the same thing. Guys come out here to Orange County and work out. A bunch of quarterbacks come and throw. You got Jordan Palmer, who's helped out a lot of, guys for pre-draft, and they come back here and throw a lot. So
I love how it's still word of mouth. Like there's nothing ever.
It has to be word of mouth, or people are gonna get mobbed.
Right. No. But I mean, just organized in terms of sending something out. It really becomes like somebody hey, I'm going to go so-and-so, and it gets through the grapevine, and guys show up and get it done. I mean, that's like pick up hoops. That's like pick up soccer. And you always wanted to be in that mix of like where you're going to get the best competition.
You got to be an elite company. You got to train in an elite company. It's almost like going to, a certain boxing gym, say like Wild Card in LA. You're going to see a bunch of fighters there. Maybe Manny Pacquiao's there. Maybe Cotto's there. Like we're all here in the same camp together. You watch boxing matches either with the same promoter or they're from the same area. The guys are sitting there watching their fights because they're all in the same camp or the same area. Last summer, Richard Sherman, Aqib Talib and Darius Slay, and I think Xavier Rhodes was there too. All these guys worked out together in California somewhere, I think it was. Aqib and Sherman are in the same division, helping each other.
So, on the Kevon Looney front, this is what I don't understand. Help me with this. Because the Warriors had this miraculous, valiant, impressive, inspirational finish to Game 2, and ended up winning it with Quinn Cook and DeMarcus Cousins and Alfonso McKinney. Everybody is now, the Warriors, the Raptors are done. The Warriors are winning this series. It's a fait accompli. I don't get that. I'm looking at the Warriors and where they are physically. I look at what they have been the better part of this year, which is they haven't been able to sustain their energy at home or on the road. I look at what the Raptors demonstrated that they were capable of doing, not just in Game 1, but in the first half of Game 2. They were dominating in the first half. It didn't show up on the scoreboard, and they're responsible for that. But I don't understand why people don't think at this stage that the Raptors are still capable of winning this series. I do.
Well, I mean, I think they're still capable because they still got a lot of games to go, and that was my question before everyone started getting banged up on the Warriors. It's like, hey, can the Raptors keep up this pace the whole series?
Yeah,
it's like, okay, well now everyone's dropping like flies on the Warriors,
right?
Can they keep up this high IQ, high percentage shot type of game? Because there's one time, eventually. You're not going to get the same lift. Fatigue's going to set in. Sure. I mean, you saw Kawhi. He had no lift.
Yep.
Hence him running everybody over. Hence him getting to the middle of the key and kicking it out every time.
I'm glad you brought that up because people have acted as if the Warriors are the only team that are injured in this series. Kyle Lowry's playing with a bad thumb on his left hand. We don't know exactly what's going on with Kawhi Leonard. We just know that he's not right.
He's not right at all.
And you could make the case that those are their two best players.
He can't get by anybody. He's pushing everybody out the way, running people over. His and one, he barely got off the ground.
He is. There's no explosiveness. I've seen him before where he can get a step on you. And he gets a step on you so that if you retreat, now he's got the pull up and he's got an easy look. He's not getting that. He's having to find openings. And this is where I believe that Kawhi has to be smarter, because I understand what he's trying to do. He feels like this is my responsibility to go get it. That's what I'm here for. That's who I am. I'm the go-to guy in these situations. But if you don't have it, you don't have it.
Right.
And that's where Kyle Lowry has been hampered by foul trouble, foolish foul trouble, to be honest with you. He's done it to himself. He has to be smarter because he's got to take some of that load off Kawhi. I feel as if Kyle has the ability, bad left hand and all, he has the ability to get to places on the floor. But ultimately, for me, where they lost it was defensively. Offensively, the shots weren't falling, and defensively, they let it affect them. They didn't play with the same urgency or focus. The transition buckets were just too easy for the Warriors. The Warriors, if you're giving Clay back cuts, if you're giving Quinn Cook wide open threes, they're capable of knocking those down.
There were a lot of free baskets.
Yeah.
Like Steph made a couple big passes, and then the most underrated part of Draymond's game is him running the point.
Yep.
I mean, he can find anybody. He can facilitate. He can run the whole entire offense. And he was able to come down the court. He does this thing where he powers down the court, makes everybody nervous because you don't know what he's going to do, and boom, he'll find somebody wide open.
Yeah.
The alley-oop to Bogut caught me off guard.
Or if he has a lane, he will go all the way and finish. And he had a miss. He missed on Kyle Lowry where he spun and he was wide open and he missed it. And it's the first time I've seen him that I can recall in these playoffs where he missed a layup. When he goes in, even in traffic, he generally finishes. For me, Draymond Green may be the smartest player in the NBA right now.
What do you mean, like in the entire NBA?
In the entire NBA. Because of what he's able to do. I mean,
over LeBron.
Yes, because what Draymond is, the fact that he's averaging or close to averaging a triple-double, if you've ever been around Draymond physically, he's not imposing physically. He's 6'7", 6'6", 6'7". He's not particularly quick. He's not particularly strong. He knows how to play angles. Clearly he watches tape. He knew when he picked Siakam, he knew exactly what move he was going to and where the ball was going to be exposed and how he could slap it away. That's just the guy who's watching tape and is ready for what's coming at him. I look at everything that he does in terms of organizing them and having a feel for the game overall. It's and I'll throw it out to our listeners. You want to, at Bucher Friends, you can send me a name of somebody who is smarter than Draymond Green when it comes to playing the game, because he gets so much done. Just his awareness of, and this is the beauty. Like he and I talked about this at one point. He measures out his fouls. Like if he hasn't had a foul in the first quarter,
he'll just go reckless.
He'll play uber aggressive to see what he can get away with because he has one to burn. And if he has two, then he knows he's going to play a different way. And if he has two going into the second half, he's good. Like he's good to go. He knows exactly how he can use those last three fouls in order to play the way he wants to play. He maps out the game before they actually play. And I thought that just his awareness on the floor in a variety of situations, in transition in particular, as you pointed out, was exactly what they needed. So,
smartest player in the NBA.
I dare anybody to
over LeBron.
Yes. Yeah, you know what? Yes. Yes. Yes.
All right.
Because this is the thing that LeBron orchestrates things. But LeBron doesn't always...
His timing is not as as good as Draymond's. I think. I think situationally, yes.
But you know why that is? Because I don't know that LeBron is as acutely aware of the strengths and weaknesses of who's around him as much as Draymond is. LeBron expects you to play for him. He expects you to know certain things. Draymond almost takes into account.
But I'm going based off of before LA.
I'm just going right. I said I'm right now. I
can't say right now.
I'm in the moment person.
He just got to LA. I can't say right now.
But here's the thing.
I can't say Draymond's the smartest player because he's been on that team for so long and they have such a great chemistry. I don't know, 1 year.
But Draymond has brought along a lot of different guys and worked with a lot of different guys. Kevon Looney is relatively new to the mix. Quinn Cook is relatively new to the mix. That's where LeBron needs veterans who have high basketball IQs. He doesn't adapt necessarily to guys that he expects them to adapt to him. Draymond adapts to whatever is around him. And some of that is just because LeBron's so good, that's the way you want to do it. I'm not faulting him for that.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good point because I can see how guys will play up to their ability because they're with LeBron.
Yeah.
Like they'll try to play up and that's also what LeBron expects.
Yeah.
And in terms of Draymond, I feel like he can get it out of you.
He fills gaps.
You. Yeah, by challenging you as an individual, he can get out of you.
Yeah.
And he rises when the situation gets worse.
Draymond's also a leader. Like LeBron's not. LeBron's not a natural leader. Draymond.
You calling LeBron a front runner?
No, I'm not a front runner. I actually had this conversation with Rajan. I can't get into it about leadership.
No, you're good.
And about why? No.
I'm saying you don't have to. You're good.
Okay.
I'm just gonna sit back here. You see how I'm lounging right now.
I know. You got just moved away from the microphone. Like
here it is.
All right. One last thing I want to get into. Kawhi files a lawsuit against Nike. Apparently, back in 2011, he had some drawings. They go back.
2011.
Yeah, 2011. That's when he had a Nike deal. And so they apparently copyrighted that logo, and he just found this out because he wanted to utilize it for some clothing line or whatever, some ideas that he has, and Nike objected to it. He's now suing Nike because he says, I came up with that logo and they copyrighted it.
That hand logo?
Yes. So here's the question I have for you. And you know what's weird is I've seen him with gear with that logo on it. And I wonder why it's just coming up now, whether it was just personalized stuff that he made and now he's trying to take it to market and maybe that's where it came up, where Nike got wind of it. And
that logo's kind of whatever anyway.
It's not over the top. It's his initials and it's with his hand and so it's a little odd.
He'll probably win the lawsuit though.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know copyright law enough to say definitively whether he would or not. I think some of that really has to do with what was written when and what you can prove and et cetera, and how much money you're willing to spend to get control of it, or Nike's willing to spend to keep it. All that said, if you had a logo, what would it be?
If I had a logo?
Yes, if you had a logo.
I can't describe a logo. I don't know. Are you a visionary? Can you
would it be? What would it involve? What would you have? Would you have your initials? Would you have a number? Would you have what object would you try to work into it? What feature of yours would you include?
I would just borrow the Wu-Tang Clan W and just ask them if I can just use it on my behalf and just leave it at that.
Wow. Come on. You're more creative than that. That's bailing on the subject. Just say I don't. Just say
that's like a question that like my son would ask. I feel like
I'm going to take that as a compliment.
it's one of those questions that just
stumps you.
You're like, well, can I get back to you?
Yeah, you can. You can get back to me, and you could say, "I'll get back to you on that."
Oh my goodness! I actually just created a logo. Actually,
for what?
Because I'm starting a football academy.
The Will Blackman Football Academy?
Blackman Football Academy.
Blackman Football Academy. And so you're working on a logo. So it's not that crazy of a question. Jeez. Look at that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like a shield with a crest and a picture of me, silhouette, me running through the middle with like a silhouette field in the back, wings outside the shield, Blackman Football Academy going around.
We go
like a upside down U around the image of me running out.
We go from you making it sound like it was a ridiculous question to you showing me an actual logo that you created for the Blackman Football Academy.
Today. I was thinking, you know why? I was thinking like a personal like signature. This is for an academy that I'm gonna start up within. Hopefully this week I can get something going. So I was thinking signature logo.
What's the Blackman Football Academy going to be all about?
It's going to be just pretty much teaching the game of football, man. Physically, mentally, emotionally, all the above.
Nice.
Just how to give people the tools, not only just from a physical standpoint, but there's a lot that goes on with failure and all that, because I do some mental performance coaching as well.
Yeah.
So just to help guys with they're dealing with anxiety or depressions of the game and stuff like that, just keep building confidence. It's interesting that lately, since I've been coaching high school football, it's amazing to see how many kids just lack confidence. And it stems from, I guess from at home. There's not a lot of parents at home telling their own kids that they're doing a good job. And whatever it is, whether it's school, whether it's football, whether it's chores, whether it's whatever.
I wonder how much of it is the pressure that starts very early on of what 100%. Kids what they're expected to be, like 10, 11, 12 years old. Parents are already judging them, pushing them to be a D1 athlete or a pro or whatever it is. And these kids are up against these standards at a very young age.
Yeah, give them a chance. Give them a chance to decide what they want to do. These parents put so much money into these camps, into all these personal trainings, and sending them to these like top schools. And it's like, all right, like I'll do it. It's interesting. My wife and I are in a situation right now with our son Ryder. He's 8 years old, and he just started wrestling for a wrestling club like 4 months ago. And he asked us to wrestle. He asked us to sign him up because he likes to wrestle. So cool. He's been wrestling, and then he was in the very intro beginner group. Fast forward to now, the coaches, now keep in mind, his head coach is a Hall of Famer in CIF high school wrestling as a coach. His other head coach, the owner, is Mark Munoz, a national Division I champion and also UFC veteran. And a bunch of other national champions are on that roster as coaches, and they all want to move him up to advance now.
Okay.
And they're like, some parents who've seen Ryder wrestle, they're like, man, it's going to be a challenge. He's going to get pummeled a bit. And he's already been getting pummeled because he wrestles older kids, because he's small. I mean, he's younger, but he's tall. And he's going to get pummeled, but he'll be all right. And I see him, and he can be a CIF and da-da-da. I'm like, whoa. Like, we're not even like there.
He's 8 years old.
We're not in the discussion. We're not even there. Like, we haven't even. I'm not even imagining him being a California state champion. I'm not even imagining like, our son can.
That's good.
Our son can get a scholarship in wrestling or be in the Olympics. I'm not even there. Our Ryder simply just wants to have fun wrestling.
Yeah.
So do I want to just push him through advance and, him get his butt kicked every single week and him not want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Something that he picked. He just loves to wrestle. He just wants to go and wrestle.
I laughed when my son started playing soccer and he was on a travel team, sort of the select team in our area. And we had a parents meeting with the coaching staff. And they were like, yeah, we train year round, so pretty much have to give up, any other sports the kid may be playing. I'm like,
by the way, that is insane. I heard that the other day from a parent.
Yeah. I'm like, he's in 6th grade. That ain't happening. We're not going all in on a sport in 6th grade. I want him to play everything. And ultimately, it was probably 2 years, 3 years later, he gave up soccer and moved on. And he's played baseball. He's played golf. Basketball is his thing now. He's really into that. We're trying to get him to take up some second sport, but he's all in on hooping. But he's in high school now. He's a freshman in high school, so I get it. But it's extraordinary to me, and I think that's where it comes from. I don't think it's that parents aren't encouraging. I think they're too encouraging. I think they're too on top of these kids in terms of measuring their development and their growth. And I've been guilty of it at times. I see that because I see the potential in my kids, especially my daughter.
And that's exactly what his coach said, Mark. He was like, man, I totally understand, if he's not ready to move up. Because he says, sometimes I see the potential and I get so excited.
Yes.
That I'm like, come on, yes. He can do this. He's ready to go. And then he'll send the kid up there and the kid will get discouraged. He said, I get so excited. I said, no, totally. I get excited too when I see stuff, but I have to be careful and always pull myself back. Even something as simple as after, right at a wrestling match or after a swim meet or after a football game.
Yeah.
I don't want to jump right in. Hey, you could have done this. You could have done this. You could have done that. Yeah. I try my best not to do that.
Yeah. Sometimes we succeed, sometimes we fail.
Yeah, I just don't want to take the fun out of it, And I ask him every time he gets discouraged about something. I said, do I ever get mad at you when you lose anything? He was like, no, you don't get mad at me. I go, when do I get upset? He said, if I lose because I didn't try hard.
Right.
That's the only time. Yep. Other than that, I was like, did you get your best today? He's like, yeah. I was like, then if the guy beat you at your best, then so be it.
Yeah.
It was his day.
All right. That does it for this episode of Bucher and Blackman, subsidiary Bucher and Friends, part of the United WeCast Network. Please rate our show, and you will be eligible to win prizes. Screenshot the review and send it to @BucherFriends. And that's how you become part of the drawing. In the next podcast, I'm suspecting that it's going to be a Bucher friendless. Very good possibility of that. If it's not, it will be the conversation that I had with Andre Iguodala that I utilized for the recent piece that I did for Bleacher Report. I wasn't able to use all of it, all the material that we had, and there's some interesting conversation that I think you'll find interesting when it comes to Iguodala's mindset and the Warriors. All that in the next podcast. In the meantime, as always, thanks for listening.